We now return to Let's Play SimCity. Well, I don't really know that I actually want to continue playing this city. A few things we can do. What I said we were going to do. Crime is in progress here, huh? Well, we're going to, I can't imagine embezzling, I guess, is what that symbol means. I don't know. We're going to get rid of this here. What other one's abandoned? This little home? Too much crime. It's too much crime all around in this city, apparently. That's alright. So we're going to put that down. Right central. I don't know that it needs to be that way, but we'll do it that way. And then we will add in one of these, and, well, maybe two of these. How about just two of these? Although, how much does this actually cost me? It's not too bad. I think that'll be fine. And then we can add one here, one here. I think we should be golden. That will hopefully really take it down. Yeah, okay, cool. Well, that's done. There are a million things, though, that still could be done here. We need to balance the numbers a little bit better so that we get more of these people. Middle class is doing fine. What we need are more jobs for the lower class and just more upper class in general, which I don't really see. Are these off? Oh yeah, they are. Well, that one is anyway. I turned off a few levels because they were not having... See, now we got unsatisfied shopping, so if I turn that back on, is that going to be a thing? Maybe. Let's look at, I mean, it doesn't really say so. Nah, whatever, we're doing fine. So, yeah, the whole level here, no shoppers. For what we're doing here is kind of gotten to a point now where, because we've got all the mega towers, we really just need to fill in. And that doesn't seem too terribly fun to me, to be honest. It's just a little bit numbers crunchy for me, and at this point, I think we've done everything we've accomplished here. Set out to accomplish. I kind of had intended Gazconda to be done prior to the Space Center. The Space Center I thought was going to be, well, it was time-consuming, actually. It was a lot of weight and manipulating the trading mechanics in order to get it done. I felt like maybe it was a little bit too much, but that's just me. Apparently people are moving out because of crime, but we were only getting one crime committed a day. So I don't know what that's all about, but I think we're doing fine. These are building up. I think that should be okay because that's taking care of some needs, but it's also creating some unemployment now because we're... Well, I think because this one just started, so it kicked a bunch of people out. Once these are done, I want to see what the impact will be. See, this is working, though, and it's largely because it's high density and high wealth. But if we could remove some of the, as I say, the offending buildings that are adding too much land value to the area, because there's something around here, it's probably these, actually, that are adding something to this. Quite possibly I could get rid of that, but that's creating land value for these guys. So really what I would need to do is come up here, create the land value to come down, to connect and put something in here, not back here, and then we just all move things around. But yeah, we're not going to do too much better there. So how's this going? Now we have many available jobs, so this whole thing is now causing a little bit of havoc. Kind of cool now that it's rising to the level of the sky bridge. But anyway, yeah, one abandoned building still. Ah, it's this one. What's the deal? Not enough shoppers or something? That's not telling me. Oh well. But that's okay. That's okay. I think it turned out all right. This didn't turn out all right, though. We are vastly exceeding our ability to handle this. So I think maybe we're going to have to go in here and actually... God damn it. actually pull a road out just so we can add another one. And I don't know if it's worth continuing over to here just to see what we can add here, maybe, because I didn't really want to continue adding garbage back here. I would like to utilize this space for something, but yeah, I don't know. I think this is going all right. The weird thing about this game is that it really just comes down to this number right here. As long as you're making money, everything's fine. Whether there's huge problems or not, it takes a while for people to either abandon because of shopping, abandon because of crime. Any number of ailments to the city really are completely secondary to whether or not you've got money, and mostly money to fix it. Surprisingly, it is very easy to make a basic city from the get-go that actually makes you a lot of money. And then you can just basically sit on that until you need to. There's definitely sort of a metagame in behind all of this where it's sort of built in stages, especially with the Cities of Tomorrow stuff. I can see that. Obviously, I did not play this game until it was the complete edition, but when it first came out, and all these mega towers and the Omega Core, which is just a cash cow, when none of that existed, I could see this game being, if you went into specializations, being horrifically imbalanced and hard to get back on tack. It is that way already. I mean, you plunk down any specialization and it is way too many jobs that it provides, and then it creates this one terrible little feedback loop where now, you know, if you put that down, well, you can get rid of jobs by getting rid of industry. That's fine, but then you can't get freight now to your commercial, so that's a problem. And you get rid of some of your commercial, or you get more people in and they need more commercial, but then you get commercial demand in and that creates jobs as well. So if you've got an excess amount of jobs going on, it's really difficult. How did we suddenly do that? We must have just built up a bigger building on residential land, which I'm not seeing right now. I must not have been paying attention. Somehow we did that, though. We went from being a lot of unemployed people to now we've got excess jobs. Well, okay, maybe that's one of these commercials. See, and that's the other thing, too. Even though it's commercial, I get the feeling that some of these are divided into offices and actual commercial buildings. So some of these have goods, but others do not. So there's shopping. That whole shopping statistic is separated from the offices, much like the levels in the Mega Tower. The offices kind of take over for industry as far as providing jobs, but they're not the kinds of jobs that provide freight to your shopping commercials. It's very complex, and it's difficult to sort of tack down what is causing certain problems because you don't have the availability of those statistics. Surprisingly, and this is the thing, like in any of my other SimCity series, I've never really delved into the number crunching. I've never delved into the nitty-gritty and the min-maxing and all that shit. This graph, surprisingly, is, I suppose it's a chart, is surprisingly important to making decisions on how things work. Not really, because they don't match up with these at all. You know, you've got like so many unsatisfied goods here, you'd think there'd be some demand for that commercial. There's not. I don't get why this doesn't match up. But this right here can tell you why certain things will develop better than this chart will. That's kind of annoying to me because that's sort of always how it has been. You can rely on your RCI to tell you what you need in your city and what will grow and all that. But looking at this doesn't really match up. I mean, yes, I can understand why there's big demand here because we've got 1,500 here, but we've only got 69 unsold goods. So really, why is this not matched with this? This is slightly more, but you'd think there'd be more demand for this. And it's regional, and I don't know. There's too many things that just don't mesh well together. And again, I think it all goes back to the way this game was originally developed, in that it was meant to be, well, I've got my little city, and then my friends have got their other cities, and we're all playing together online, and so we've got to kind of keep it compartmentalized. But when you play on an entire region like this, in many ways they don't play well together, and I feel like this whole regional demand versus local demand is another untuned part of the game, especially when you look at the commuting. You would think, okay, we need certain things, so you'd think there'd be more than 10 people commuting out for shopping, especially since I know darn well we've got places around here that have major amounts of unsold goods. Likewise, we've got 2,000 unsold goods in town for medium class. Medium class is the highest level of population I have in Gazlantis. Why are there only 6 people coming here to shop? I mean, I understand there's traffic hell, so maybe it's like, we don't need to go there, but you know what I mean. Like, it doesn't work quite so well. There's a lot here, but a lot of it's pointless because, again, it all just boils down to how much are you making. Which is unfortunate, because there could have been a lot more depth added to this game, as there were in previous SimCities, and then they went the whole casual route, which frankly, I don't actually mind that in itself. The Sims 4 and this SimCity have been departures from the franchises in that aspect of being overly simplified and more casual friendly. But as far as making the game less enjoyable, I don't think it was. As I've said in several previous videos, I've enjoyed the game enough that I've hopped out and started side regions, just experimenting with cities or just building cities, because there's a little bit of satisfaction in being able to do it. However, having made several cities, like a dozen cities now, or several dozen cities, it all kind of boils down to the same thing. You're all effectively making the same cities, which is really unfortunate. If you look at it online, I mean, my cities have obviously been mostly grid, or at least uniform, attempting to maximize space, make them more efficient and all that stuff. You can make some silly designs. There are limitations just because of the way the roads work, but you can actually make some loopy stuff, and I've seen some people just splash stuff down and whatever, it works. Not quite to the extent it works in, say, Cities Skylines, but you can do something, and it's not going to be the greatest city, but as long as you keep it to... I feel like approaching 250,000 people is too much. Maybe if this were the only city in the entire region at that population, yes, but we can see that this game is not meant for some reason to handle this many vehicles going in and out, and I feel like this could be simulated, especially since you can't see the region out here. The garbage trucks that are still blocked out there for some reason, it's not good. The game itself is not as terrible as everyone has been saying. Maybe the initial press, because it was when it first came out, the online issues this game had and all that, but overall the game has some good and some bad. And frankly, in having experienced Cities Skylines as well, having done a series on it, I don't believe Cities Skylines is necessarily a superior game. Total. At some things, yes. At some things, it's not. For example, the ability to expand out into the region, this game should have absolutely had that. Now, in Cities Skylines, you're basically building one gigantic sprawl of a city. There's no divvied up regions and all that stuff. You can pretend by just sort of expanding out and making a new little city that's, but it all effectively runs on the same thing. Having specialized cities like a gambling town versus a coal town, like that just doesn't really exist. And I guess it depends on how much of a separation of certain things you want for that. But go back to SimCity 4. SimCity 4 had separate regions, but a very big map to sprawl it on, and you could effectively make a mega city, but each region was a little bit different, and I feel like there's no reason they couldn't have just done that with this game. We do have our little regions here, but there's no reason I couldn't just buy into this strip, or it could be divvied up a little bit bigger, and you could make some. Now, perhaps that was just by design because of the expected online server load and that whole ridiculous nonsense that they tried to do. That probably limited a great deal, but if anyone ever gets a hold of the franchise again and attempts to make a classic SimCity game, there's no reason they couldn't take the lessons of City Skylines to incorporate it into here and expand in that direction. But this game does do things better than City Skylines in a number of aspects. For one, the first thing that comes to mind are the DLCs for City Skylines. Like $15 a pop for things that are here in SimCity, and it's ridiculous. I remember from that playthrough, one of the things that really annoyed the shit out of me was that first of all, you buy the day and night cycle, which ridiculous that they didn't have that in the base game. But it didn't work, which is worse. This game definitely does work. You have to get mods in City Skylines to make stuff work, or to attempt to make it work. In this game, day and night just is there, and it works. People come in at 6 o'clock, they leave at about 5:30, and you can see the changes in traffic that causes. That is how it was meant to work. And you can, when you've got your budget in City Skylines, you can set different things for day and night. So like if if everyone's going to be home and asleep, you don't need as much power, so you can put your power budget down. The problem is that the game doesn't recognize that at all, because the city is on 24/7, and so if you lower that, then you inevitably have problems, which is not... I mean, if you're going to sell DLC for that, it needs to work. And, likewise, like, all the other things, like weather, disasters, all the classic things that are just in SimCity, there's no reason they needed to nickel and dime that shit. And especially if they don't work. Like, that's the worst part of City Skylines, is that you need to mod it, basically, to make it work how it should be. And... God, you think this is bad traffic. I remember that episode where I had a mod, because, each building in City Skylines is not correct population. This does not actually tell you how much population is in there. Maybe we can get a little bit of a... So there's 1 resident in here, 2 students. So there's 3 people living in this home, okay? In City Skylines, there would be 3 families crammed into this home. And that was what one of the mods that I had was meant to do. It was to change population so it matched. So you would get basically 3 people in a household. After we turn that off, okay, so now there's 5. There's 5 people living here. That's still a far cry from like the 25 people that City Skylines would shove into its hellholes. But after I turned that mod off, because the problem with that is that the mod worked in that regard, but it didn't mesh with the game mechanics, because the game mechanics still required certain levels of people. So my city wasn't growing because I didn't have the people. So I had to turn that mod off just so I could get the populations, so I could build new things. And as soon as I did, boy, there was a line of people spawned in to come to the city that stretched on for miles. I remember that episode very well. But yeah, so I don't know, this game definitely has problems, but everyone who jumped on the bandwagon of City Skylines was so much better, it really wasn't. I mean, it was, but it wasn't, like, 1,000 times better. Oh, hey, whoop, I think I'm missing the traffic on this bridge. I'm seeing little dots that are running by. No, I missed them all? God damn it. Yeah, so... as I said, in some regards, City Skylines is a better game. In others, SimCity got it right. It's just a shame that they didn't... They tried to shortcut it and nickel and dime it, and I mean, City Skylines did too. There we go. But fine dining over there, I guess. Cool. So yeah, they both got their strengths and their weaknesses. The difference for me is that I got fed up with City Skylines, and SimCity I just kept wanting to play. I mean, I think I've had my fill now, really, because I tried to start another region just to see a few things, but then I was just like, I really don't want to start this all over again. So I didn't, and I'll probably put this on the shelf for a while. But I fully expect to someday be like, yeah, I'll pick that out again, play it. Maybe not as a let's play, but just for my own fun and entertainment. Maybe try to build this correctly the way I'd actually wanted to. Now that I kind of have I kind of went into this game a little bit blind. So there was a lot to the game that I didn't really fully understand, and whilst I got some things, I feel now I know the game better and how to balance it a little bit better, how to balance my cities a little bit better. We lost about 10,000 people while I've been talking. So I don't know. I think I could probably build this to be the way I want it. It's just not right now. So anyway, yeah, I have set out to create Gazlantis, the Space Center. I don't know. I think this actually looks pretty cool. It reminds me of what's that city in Final Fantasy VII? Kind of reminds me of that, but I think it looks neat. I like the fact that you can still kind of see from the horizons, and that makes it look pretty cool when you can see across the way there. But boy, they really screwed up with the whole syncing and the fact that when they made it single player, capable, they just didn't fix any of the mechanics to make it playable. And it's not moddable apparently to the point that anyone wanted to fix it, and so it's just, it doesn't work, which is a shame, because I imagine it's a lot more fun when you can just sell yourself the minerals, and because then you can make a manufacturing town. See, we can make our high-tech town the one that turns all this stuff into computers and alloys and all that stuff, and you can just do your basic mining towns out here and get that pushed in. I imagine that's how it was intended to work, and it just kind of didn't, but oh well. And Omega Co., boy, that is a surefire way to make a shit ton of money, isn't it? That franchising, I don't know what the hell that's about. I wish I had not misclicked on that one, so I could have done the division that allowed me to put in trucks that I could send to the other cities, because I really would have liked to have done that, made franchises of this whole thing, make it completely futurized. I think that would have looked really cool. It's a shame that it's a shame we missed out on that. And boy, is that fog cloud, or is that just smog cloud from over there? I don't know. It looks kind of cool though. But anyway, yeah. So Gazlantis, with its total of over 1 million citizens, has reached out, built up, and created a futuristic society for some people. Anyway, we've built this space center, which doesn't really look how I'd expected. This still looks like it's under construction, but the people of Gazlantis have sort of created their futuristic and high-tech advanced society, and have now been able to reach the stars, shooting rockets into the very home of the gods themselves. Oh, the hubris of it all, for the gods punish such people. We'll start in Mineral Town as soon as it loads. Because what better way would there be to end the series than by destroying everything? You see, in Mineral Town, their greed for the wealth of the earth was too great, and they dug too deep, and that caused earthquakes everywhere. You really only get one at a time? Oh, come on now. Crumbles to dust. Wow, that one just plain took it straight before that even happened. I'm not sure I like that. It really doesn't have the same sprawl that it ought to. Earthquakes, earthquakes everywhere. And boy, the amount of people, like, it really... The ability to build a recycling center and a smelting factory and all this stuff should have been in here. There needs to be like a third the workers required for all of this. This pointless thing, this trading depot, I mean, boy, it is not good. It is not good the way this just doesn't work. Kind of disappointed that this doesn't do much more than just destroy buildings. I mean, on the one hand, it's nice. What SimCity was it, though, that it actually... Maybe it wasn't. Maybe I'm thinking of Zeus. When you got an earthquake in Zeus, it permanently screwed up the land. Which, yeah, it was annoying. But if this game had terraforming in it, which it definitely is also missing, then we'd have the capability to mess around with that. And boy, does this game need terraforming, because let me tell you, there are some maps, and one of them in particular is like one of the last ones, I forget what it's called, Giant's Gorge or something like that, where every map takes place about half full of hill like this, and you can't reshape that hill. So if you are actually playing on that region, online say, you are severely hampered by the amount of buildable space, and I don't see how that could possibly be enjoyable. And I don't know, maybe that's kind of how the game was meant to be when they first designed it. Maybe it was meant to be a game where, you know, you build a tiny town, it works, and you move on. And it's just, I feel like that's where the casual part comes in that really destroys a few things. Because it's not, I don't know, it's just not enough. And it's a shame, actually, you know, given how limiting they made this game and The Sims 4 as far as places you could go and all that stuff, I feel like they really dropped the ball there. You know, when SimCity 4 came out, it meshed with The Sims. You could build a sim and import it into your SimCity 4. They really missed out on the opportunity to make regions in this game that you could then play in The Sims 4. Now, I understand that this would have to look a little bit differently because, like, there's only maybe a dozen buildings per region. We'll do one more. In The Sims 4, so, like, you couldn't have a full-on city like this, but point being that they missed the opportunity to still have that crossover. People are still wanting to come here despite the fact. Alright. Mineral Town lies in ruins. Sort of. It's time to move on. I don't know. I'm not defending all of the things in this game. It's just not that bad. It's bad, but it's not that... Okay, I mean, what in hell's name is that, anyway? Hold on. What is this? It is the monorail system from here transposed over there. Or maybe it's... Yeah, because it's the curvature. It is. Okay. I tried, SimCity. I tried to defend you, but holy shit. Come on now. Anyway. So, over here, amongst the greed and hedonism of Siminico, a lot of fun things go on here. You can have a ton of fun. But, alas, from the depths. You hear? Yeah. Hearing the calls of Dolly the dinosaur, a rogue Gigantosaurus has decided to come in and attempt to mate with it. I feel like this might not have been optimal for destruction. How long till I can get another one? Not enough. Perhaps, stirred from its ocean home by whatever the fuck this is. But boy, what a spectacle this creates for those tourists, huh? Come to Siminico. Plenty of tall buildings for it to destroy. Not the biggest, though. Boy, that really just completely devastates those. Why are they running towards it? Okay, that sucks. That was just building. Why do you guys keep building here? Oh, and he goes away. Okay. To pop up perhaps on this side? No, he's going for Larry the Llama. We need to speed this up just a little bit. That path of destruction was not nearly as big as I was thinking it was. Okay, well, apparently we've harassed Siminico enough. Come on now. At the very least. You're in the center of town now. You can't find anything to do in Siminico? Oh, what's going to happen here? Uh-oh. Bad things happen when you destroy temples. So now I'm curious to see what's going to happen. Boy, it wants to destroy this building. I don't know what the hell is being built there, but it does not like that building. And it's going home. Even the disasters are a little lackluster. That's a bit disappointing. Well, okay. We've done whatever here. Time to move on to Abel City. The city of science, and all those high-minded, snooty people who live here do not know the things they've unleashed. What's that? The Outworlder 6. Let's speed this up. So I like how it's straddling the monorail. Not destroying it. Okay, it just destroyed it. Scanning for... Oh, how terrible. It's not going away, is it? I mean, I feel we can do better. Let's see if it'll destroy a mega tower. Come on now. Ooh. That's a new trick. So it just drains energy or something and then takes off? Is that what it's doing? Well, so much for that. We seem to have destroyed... Oh, it eats up that... Okay, well... let's go over here and test out on Omega City 1. Because what is Omega? Who knows? But it's some pretty crazy stuff that seems to power the future. And that interests certain people. Or certain things. Does it just rise out of the ocean? That's actually pretty cool. I feel like SimCity 4's mothership was perhaps a little bit more threatening. Are they just disappearing? Or are they popping in it? What the hell? Picking one right off the street corner. That's crazy. Okay. Got yours. I feel like that one's broken. You need a little bit of help. Where is it? Oh my god. You're telling me there's another one? There is. That's the Mega Tower one. Jesus. Okay. The game has some bugs. That's for damn sure. Still far more enjoyable than, say, Anno 2205. You gonna destroy anything? I mean, destroying the headquarters would be kind of cool. Well, okay, just destroyed that one. Guns and things. That's right. Disarm the population for the invasion. Yeah, that is, really? That is Gasconda's support structure. Okay, well, we don't need to worry about that. We'll move on to this. Gas Town. Come on. Come on. Come on. Okay, Gas Town. Gas Town sits upon a lake of oil. And it also has this very crazy corridor here. Perfect for, say, a tornado. Alright, let's, come on now. Wow, now this is where it's going to suck up the traffic. This is our radical new idea for fixing that. And boy, what a pain it was to get this. Just to get the fuel within this city. Terrible. Really terrible. But boy, this really worked out, and it could have been better, the way I designed this, but having long stretches of unbroken road, that really gets the traffic flowing. Okay, well, we had our fun there. It's time to move over to Coal Town. Now, Coal Town is my most successful industrial city. In fact, I really think I probably should have changed it to become an Omega City. It would have been very successful. But, you know, all that industry, all that coal-powered pollution can cause a little bit of sickness to happen. Cannot use during daytime. Okay. It can happen during the nighttime. In fact, people are feeling a little bit ill right now. But you wait. Just you wait. My goodness. The industry is sure changing, isn't it? What's that doing to the jobs, I wonder? Nothing good. Boy, we never really used... Coal is a very underused thing in this game. I mean, it's very unnecessary. You can do far better, I feel, power source-wise. It's very easy to plunk this down first and never have to worry about adding to the wind power and all that jazz again, but... Boy, it's one of those things, right, that you'd only use it, basically, to either power a coal plant or to sell, which, for that purpose, is fine, I guess, but the alloy, or the ore, excuse me, the ore and the oil are so much more useful, particularly because they are useful for powering Omega Co. Boy, can we get to nighttime already. Cannot use during the daytime. So when's night happen? We're still in year 2 here. We just flipped over to year 2. Criminy. How ridiculous. Okay, now it's nighttime. Now we can go. Very politely using the crosswalks. That's good, I guess. Got one down here that's... This is another one where the disaster could have been more disastrous. I really feel like they just didn't do too well with that. Like I said, this should have been a thing where it infects everybody, it infects a lot of people. The police are needed to take care of it. And I'm fine with it going away when the dawn comes, because otherwise that could get really out of hand. But as it is now, it's just a minor convenience. Like, it doesn't get rid of enough people in your city to really be a problem. We'll find out how many are killed because of this latest outbreak, but it just doesn't do it. Not at this population level. It's not enough to make a building go abandoned, for example. It's not enough to kill off... I mean, it could also take your entire sick population in town, too, and turn them into zombies like that. I just don't see why it's not more effective. All the disasters are very mild, which again feeds into the whole casual nature of this game. It's just meant to be sort of a silly little annoyance, but I mean, yeah, you can just wait this one out. And as annoying as it was in other games when a tornado would just destroy everything, including roads and the whole works, and you'd have to relay all that stuff, it's kind of what that's about. If you don't like it, there's an option to turn off disasters in SimCity games. You don't need to worry about that. But this just, yeah, I don't know. This is a little too forgiving, I feel. It could definitely be better. Well, the dawn is here. Am I going to get a whole the zombies are taken care of deal? I guess they're taken care of. Well, this is not the disastrous end video I was kind of hoping for. Now that appears to have moved over here. Who else has got a monorail? Or is it moving with me? It appears to be moving with me, because now it's moving out there. Oh boy. Well, we have to move in here now and witness the end times for Gazconda, I suppose, as much as that's going to be. Although the last disaster struck from the very heavens itself. Is usually pretty devastating, or at least it has been so far. That's it. Just one? We only get one? Alright. The mega towers are so well built they are invulnerable. Okay, well, let's see how they stack up against the robots. Yeah, they don't destroy. Oh, there are. What the hell? So that burned its way through all of those. Interesting. This one was not affected by disaster. The shit. This one definitely was. But you can repair them. It didn't want anything. I mean, I guess that's convenient given the the really ridiculous way that the mega towers are done, that you have to delete the tops to redo the bottoms. But if you can just repair like that in place, then why can't you just renovate in place as well? And boy, this is causing frame rate drops like crazy. Okay, well there must be a reason then. Oh, it popped up in the other place because it couldn't get over here, I guess? It's gonna eat garbage. That's... okay, I guess it feeds on garbage. Interesting. I didn't know that. I didn't know that was a thing. So it did me a favor by consuming my trash? I should have been paying attention to it. It looks very much like a spore creature, now that I look at it. Well, that was significantly underwhelming. Caused a lot of damage, though. In what? I'm not sure exactly, but it sure did. Because this is unprofitable? Probably, because now it's draining because everyone can't get in. Okay, well, whatever. Well, anyway, that's the end for Gazlantis, because we can't actually sink the island, and the gods must apparently not be too miffed by people shooting rockets into their homes. Perhaps they enjoy the new satellite TV they can get, and this ever-wandering... my god. Okay, well, the game has its ups and downs, but overall, I kind of enjoyed it. Before we go, I'm going to back out here, and we are going to... we're going to go look at another level, another city, the Wasteland. Is it this one? I think it is. Okay. We're just going to look at this just as an example of traffic flow and how this all kind of works out, how I figured that this can work. This area I chose just because I have not been building in a desert, and I'm very pleased actually to see that even though it continues to put this unnecessary green on, which again could be fixed by just making the bottoms transparent, it actually does change the trees to cacti and scrub bush, but that's, yeah. So here is the city that I was working towards developing towards OmegaCo. It's got kind of a nice little grouping of all the resources over here, and that makes a nice little industrial sector. But by sectioning it off, it comes with 2 highway connections this time, and that creates an interesting little grid pattern for me. It allows me to sort of line out with parks and thereby control each sector. This is going to be medium wealth, low wealth, and sort of the high wealth, so they can overlook the terrible, terrible industry. But what I've done here, if you look, is that these are obviously medium, and then I've got other strips. Medium up here, and I believe on the outside, and then 2 lines going through there, up here, up here. So it's very much controlled as to where it is. In fact, you see that while I could have done it here, I've actually only done it here because it connects to these. So in this city, what I've done as part of my theory is get my main roads really only as connectors. So it actually, in this case, does sort of change the traffic flow just a bit, and I guess we'll just go ahead and let it go so I can see in the nighttime. It's now 5 o'clock, and if we turn this on, you can kind of see where all the traffic is going. If we look at this, you'll see that not everything connects to certain roads, and that's so that I can kind of determine what is going to develop along what road. The worst traffic right here is for this intersection. I'm not entirely sure why. I think maybe just because of this right here. The way I've got this, though, as you notice, because these are the lowest level of road, there's only traffic, or only stop signs on these sides of the roads. This is actually one big thing, and it goes to that light. But you look here, and there is just a pure light-to-light road. Like, you get on here and traffic just flows. Same here. This is the one light, and this is the other light. They just zoom along right in there. And along back here, this whole thing is uncontrolled. It just really does help empty things out. This section actually, I mean, early in the morning for about 2 hours, as we'll see as it takes over here, this is very dense right here as everyone's trying to get out because there's only 2 ways through. they're not smart enough to go down here or to go up here. They insist on taking these two, but it works out okay. In about 2 hours, this is completely gone. As opposed to some of my cities where the traffic is there pretty much all damn day, which has add-on consequences for things like emergency services or deliveries, because they'll get caught in that traffic, and then it, obviously, as we saw with the garbage, causes havoc. I have figured out, somehow, managed to get a tunnel, which I was having issues with in one of my other cities, perhaps because the water table is so much lower here or something, I don't know. But I was actually able to make that work because I anticipated it going through this field, which, looking at it now, I don't really need, but 1 a.m. Okay. So it'll pick up here a little bit. But yeah, making the city look this way, you know, it's boring, it's grid-based, whatever, but as far as traffic flow goes, it definitely works. And it kind of proves that point with the big bridge. Things like that just work, and if you just have an outlet like that where people can just get on it and go, it really helps with that flow of traffic. Even in a situation like this where there's just basically 4 main intersections which everyone in town is going through all the time, because they're not even using this. I was hoping this was going to develop up as I got things out here. You know, people would go to this road and move on. They don't do that, which is unfortunate. They go the most direct route, which again is another place where this game dropped the ball. You could have made it engineering, you know, social engineering that way by making certain roads the desirable ones. To an extent they do. To an extent they'll go to these, but only because they're the 2 intersections, and there's more stuff down here than there is up there. So here we go. Daylight is coming, and you can kind of see everyone is filtering out there, but they're all coming down here, even though they could go up there. We have a few places where traffic is pretty bad, but again, because this whole thing is just basically 1 light, 2 lights now, because of what? Oh, because I don't think I meant to do that, actually. Did I? No, maybe I did. So there shouldn't be a light here. There's this light here, but yeah. Once you get past it, it's just go, go, go all the way to the end, and that really helps filter out the peripheries. It's just, it causes problems here, but as we see, it doesn't last for very long, and over here it's non-existent. Like, everyone's already filtered out of here to go to work. It's really just right along here that's causing the problems, and in this situation you'd look at that and you go, oh, I gotta upgrade those. But it's really better if you don't, because then it adds another light there, which is 2 lights in a row, and that causes a cluster far bigger than you'd otherwise get. See, now that an hour later, it's all moved over to here, and that'll filter out by 9 o'clock. So it's all kind of filtered through, and I know there's not too many people here. I know it's not as dense, and the real test of this theory, this road theory, is going to be when it is full, and perhaps when I get mega towers through here. And I found a nice little park thing to get the mayor's house in the rich district. But it seems to work, and that's pretty pleasing to me, because it does show that it takes a little bit of planning to get the grids to work out so that they'll go on the main roads, but it does actually work. And if this were actually fully connected, because it could be, because these roads, even if they cross over here, would not cause traffic lights on this road, and nobody goes down this road anyway. It's all pretty much horizontal traffic, so I could connect these up just to see. But yeah, I mean, it seems to work, and it's aggravating in the sense that the road level is connected to the density of the buildings around it. You know, in previous SimCity games, you got to choose, well, I'm laying down high density, I'm laying down medium density. So, in that sense, you could do better. If that were in this game, it would allow you to better plan out, you know, bigger roads through the suburbs, for example, and still have that sort of level of traffic coming from small homes. The way it is, if you want to fix traffic by, say, upgrading your roads, you add traffic lights, and you unnecessarily, I feel, have to then, if all you're trying to do is fix traffic, you end up adding more to it because, well, I upgrade this road, well, now all of these are going to be, high density buildings, and that just, I don't know, I don't like the way the game did that. I don't like the way it separated the wealth density and then tied density to the road system. It just, it doesn't work. Not from a planning perspective. And City Skylines didn't get that right either. However, mods did come out where you can change traffic lights and all that stuff. Traffic management is a little bit better in that game just because, again, of the ability to mod. But I don't know. It works to an extent. Again, like I said, I could try to put some uncontrolled across here and just see what it does. See if it causes a lot of havoc in that regard. There's a lot of people coming here who are then flipping UIs or something. Oh, they're actually going. But see how that just zoom, and they're all getting over here because of it. That's actually pretty cool. But so yeah, I mean, the game definitely, I feel, rewards building cities a certain way, which is kind of unfortunate in that you can't just build the city the way you want. You kind of can, but then you have to deal with the consequences of it. But whatever. Aside from the bugs, as we've seen, and sort of the limitations, I don't think it's that bad of a game. It's not a great game, but it's at least as entertaining as, say, SimCity Societies. If you realize it's just going to be sort of a casual game and just try to have fun with it, then you'll have fun with it, I think, is the takeaway. If you're looking for a very dedicated city building series, you either have to play the old SimCity games, simulation, that's what I'm thinking of. Yeah, it's time to end the video. But anyway, so that's that done. I've just built a few outlier cities here just to kind of take care of the waste and the water. This is a map where you actually have to fill out this one with ground scrubbers and stuff because apparently it's all full of nuclear waste. I'm sure that's loads of fun to deal with. Anyway, that's the end of the series that has gone on for quite some time, but seems to have been fairly popular. I mean, at least as popular as my other SimCity series, so I guess we'll call it a success. Apparently it didn't rankle too many people the way the game is that it's unwatchable. So, I will end this one here. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next Let's Play.